Hi there, this is Richard Jones from ICOS, and today I'm going to show you a very simple demo of OpenLayers. And the purpose of this demo is to show you how to set up a reseller map, which for us is how we would set up the different stockists in different countries and display them as pins on a map. Okay, so I'm going to start from an absolute clean start of Drupal 6. This is a clean install, and I just want to show you the modules we're going to need today. We've got CCK, CTools, OpenLayers and Views, so I'm keeping it absolutely to the basics of what we need. Probably got some of these installed already. For those who are interested in which versions we're using, I've left the tiles in there so you can see exactly which ones that we've used. So first thing we're going to do, go to the modules list. Going to enable admin menu just for convenience. We need content, CCK. We need a number CCK and a text CCK. We then need OpenLayers itself and the CCK layer for OpenLayers, the UI so we can do something with it, and the Views module. And then we need Views itself. And I think that is it. So we're going to save those. CTools is a requirement for Views and OpenLayers, so we're just going to allow that to be installed as well. Just for a second. Right, and that's done. Okay, so again, for our purposes, what we're trying to do here is display nodes onto a map, and our nodes are resellers of a particular product. So the first thing we're going to do is go and create a new content type. Here we go. So I'm going to call my content type a reseller. Okay, and I'm going to save that. If I'd have got it the right way around, that would have been helpful. And I'm going to save that. Okay, now I'm going to manage the fields for that CCK. Now, in a real scenario, we would probably add things like the address and telephone number and so on. But for this demo, the only thing we actually need to add in is the location. And that is of a field type OpenLayers WKT. Okay, we're going to save that. And we can actually leave all the defaults in place here. For our purposes, I'm going to make this a point only because I only want a single point rather than a path or a polygon. And that's done. So now we've done that, the first thing we want to do is create a new reseller, our first test. And what we do is you'll see that we now have the map in place, and what we can do is we can zoom around the map and find the location of our reseller. So just for the purposes of demo, I'm just going to put a pin slap in the middle of London, as that's where we are. And I'm going to save that. Okay, and that is done. So we now have a node with a location field saved against it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Views, and we're going to make a view of the data we've just created. So I'm going to add a new view. I'm going to call it a reseller map. And it's a node type view that we want here. Okay, the first thing we do here is we want to create an OpenLayers data overlay. So a data overlay is something that appears over the top of a map, and it has to contain location data, which is what we've just done. So I'm going to create this OpenLayers data layer. Okay, and I'm going to give it a style of OpenLayers data. There we are. And what we have to do then is to add the fields. So we haven't got much in our content type yet, so we're going to say we need the title. And we also need, most importantly, the location field. and the format of that location field we want to be WKT value, which is like the text version of the geo coordinates that we selected earlier. Okay, so that is done. Probably going to want to turn off the minimum number of items there, even though it won't matter for this demo, otherwise you'll only end up with 10 pins on your map, whatever you do. Okay, so we've done that. I'm going to press save, and my view is complete. Again, if you're doing this for real, you probably want to add some filters so that it only shows the reseller content type, for example. But for the sake of demo, we don't need to worry about that. So the next thing we're going to do is go to OpenLayers. And within OpenLayers, we've got various things that we can set up. You'll notice now we've already got a layer that exists, our reseller map layer, which is what we just created a view for. So we can leave that alone. We can go into presets. We've got a default map. And we can clone that default map to make one that is appropriate for us. Okay, so here we can set various parameters about the map. I'm going to leave them all as they are for now. We can set the center and bounds. So for example, if we're doing a UK specific map, we can set the center of the page to here. There's loads of other things we can set about this. We don't need to change anything apart from for the sake of the demo. We don't need to change anything. But I do encourage you, when you've got this working, to come in and explore these different options. So when we go to layers and styles, what we need to do is we've now got a new layer, which is our reseller map layer. What we need to do is to enable it and activate it. If you've got more than one layer that you want, you can put it in the switcher. We don't need to do that again in this case. Styles we can just leave as default, but you can go in and change the styles and how the map's going to look. But again, for the sake of demo, we're just going to do a very, very basic version. Okay, so I've saved my map. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my view, and I'm going to create a page view. I'm going to give it a path. Reseller map up here, and the style I want now is an OpenLayers map. Okay, and what you'll see is that I can have my map style, the preset that I just created. I'm going to update that, and that is all I need to do. So if I save this now, save that view, I'm going to go to the reseller map page. There's my map. Can't see my pin yet, so I must have missed something, so I'm going to go back. Okay, so the piece I missed, if we go back to the OpenLayers data, and there was a style there called OpenLayers data, I'm going to set the configuration of that, and what we have to do is we have to tell the map which field in the content type represents our location. So what I'm going to say is, in this particular case we use WKT, and that field is the one called location, and the title is the title field, and that is all we need to do. So I'm going to click there, save again, and now my reseller map is how I expected, with the dot in the middle. So all I need to do now is create additional content. So if I go to a reseller again, my second reseller, and I'm going to just say, you know what, this one is slap bang in the middle of the US. I'm going to save that, and if I go back to my reseller map, you'll see two dots. Now what I will show you in a further video in a minute is how to import en masse lots of distributors, so you can get the whole lot in one go using feeds. But for now, for the sake of demo, this is how you do a distributor map in OpenLayers for Drupal 6.